Welcome to Dog on the Plot, and if you know, you know. It has been quite some time since I have done anything with this pond. In fact, I think it was the 12 days of Easter that it last had a clean out. It is in dire need of some TLC. I'm kind of of the opinion that there is no good time to clean out a pond. There is always life within it. You're always going to be doing some kind of disturbing. I've decided now might be a good time because there's literally no water in it, which is not good. I do have some water in the water butt, so I can start putting some in, but it needs to have a bit of a clear out first because a lot of the plants have died from lack of water, and there's a lot of foliage from the ginkgo tree that comes into the pond over winter. There has been somewhat of a running theme to the last few weeks of videos in that I have been doing things that I've been putting off for some time, and this is definitely one of those things. I've decided to eat the frog, which is a metaphor which is very appropriate for cleaning out a pond, although I will not be eating any frogs, and trying not to touch any newts with my bare hands as well, something I learnt last time I did the pond clear out. But it basically means that you do the hardest job first. You get it out of the way, and then you can do everything else that's perhaps a little easier or a little bit more enjoyable afterwards. So, oh my goodness. This is gonna get messy. And oh my goodness. Yeah, really, really messy. What on earth? Oh wow. So my first step, as you can see, is getting out the pond plants, some of which I do not remember planting. So this big purple thing over here, I believe, is something that is just self-seeded in the pond. I see it out and about, so it's a wild flower. I think, is it loosestrife? I'm gonna have to look it up and let you know. Okay. Oh, hello, frog. Like I said, go on. There's always some wildlife that you're inevitably going to disturb, but it's about making it as painless as possible, really. If you're wondering why I have these crates in my pond, it's because it's to lift the plants up, because most of the plants that I have and most of the ones that you can buy in garden centres are marginal plants, and this is quite a deep pond, so that's the reason I have it. But it also creates a habitat underneath. I've got other habitat things in here, like these terracotta piping things, so that creatures can live inside those, and there's rocks and stones in here as well. I also have a dead hedge back here, so creatures can go in there when they're not in the pond. So it works fairly well as an area, even though this was not designed to be a wildlife pond, because you can see it's deep. It was a fish pond, but the only issue is, it gets filthy. Now, if you're wondering where the gloves come in, this is the part. Obviously, it's not very deep because all the water has evaporated out. And you can just, I mean, look how low it is. I have never known the pond to get as low as this. Oh, hello, slug. Go on, you go in the dead hedge. Yeah, never known it to get this low. Now, I have topped it up before when, for instance, when we had the drought, but yeah, this is crazy. Now, what I tend to do is put all the muck to the side of the pond so the creatures can crawl back in. And then when the creatures are all in and it's all dried out, I collect it up and put it in the compost, and it's great for the compost heap. But, oh, there's another plant pot. I don't think there's anything growing in that one. Right, I might start bucketing out now, actually. You know what I think I should do as well as the gloves is get the wellies on. I think you can probably appreciate why it is. I've not had these on for a while. I've been putting this particular job off. I'm looking forward to the glass of wine and the bath afterwards. That will be my reward. Right, wellies on, gloves back on. Right, let's clear away. I can get in. I don't want to step on anything. Don't really have anything under my feet. There we go. I think we're okay. All right, that's better. Now, prevention is better than cure. Ah, there you are, little frog. Come on in. Come on. Oh, you've gone again. Let's see if I can scoop you up. No. What was I saying? Prevention is better than cure. No, go back up there. Go on, stay up there. Did I get it? So I shouldn't allow all these leaves to get in here in the first place. That would be better. So as I was saying, the ginkgo tree above all comes in here, but I could put a net over. The thing is, the one time that I did put a net on, a bird got caught in it, and I did rescue it in time, and it was fine, but that scared me then, and I didn't like the idea then of putting a net over. Plus the birds like to drink out of it, not like when it's like this, but usually. Oh, hello. Come on, frog. Come up here. Stop going in there. Come on. Here we go. Oh, no. Where are you gone? There. Come here. Come on. Come on. There you are. Come on. Yes, I got you. No, I didn't. Come on. I think you're the only one in here. Where are you gone now? Don't go where I'm going to step. Okay, I won't move. I think what I need now is a dustpan to scoop. That's a good idea. Right. Where have you gone, frog? You're making me nervous. Oh, you're there. There you go. Good frog. Back in. I think there. No, not seen any newts. Oh, now there's another frog. Or are you the same frog? Did you get back in while I wasn't looking? Now, I have pressure washed this in the past, and it does come up quite nice, but don't have a pressure washer at the moment, and don't have the inclination to do it anyway. So I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is sort out these pond plants, see what can go back in, and then we'll see how much water I can get out of the water butt to go in the bottom. I'm definitely not going to be able to fill it. Right, that plant looks fairly okay. I might just trim them, and then they can perhaps put on some fresh growth. Ah, that's most of the plants that are still alive in. And then there's this thing, which, yeah, as I say, I do not think I planted this. Oh dear. Okay, they need to go back in. Now there's a lot of grass in this as well, which definitely wasn't supposed to be in there because that's just regular old grass. Oh dear. Just pull that out. Oh, that's in its own pot actually. Or maybe it is and 2 pots. Well, that's got nothing in. I don't know. I don't think that's a nothing. I think maybe that was the pond plant and it's just been taken over by grass. Anyway, it's not going back in. This one, okay, maybe I did plant this then because it's in its own pot. Okay, I did. There's another massive slug. Oh, they've been loving it in that pond. Right, I'm going to pull some of these roots off. This is going to be great for the compost heap. Slug. Oh my goodness, slug. Right, do I want this to go in like this? Look at it in that tiny, tiny pot. That's hilarious. Now, all summer, it's been on this side of the pond and all that beautiful purple has been, oh, hello, I see you. Poor frog, he's just like, what the hell, woman? So all summer, it's been here and I've had this lovely purple, which has been so striking in the garden. Oh, look, this one's got a flower actually. I didn't notice that. Oh, but I think being that this part of the pond now looks horrendous, it should probably go over here to hide it a bit. Can it do that? Will it just sit there? Oh, it could be like half held up by the tree actually, couldn't it? Get it around the tree a bit. Oh my goodness. There we go. I'm trying to make it stand up, but it's so big for the tiny pot. There we go. Okay, that might work. So that one's full, but that one I've been using, so that's nearly empty. So we've only got 1 water butt worth of water to go in. It's a bit awkward to get it out the top of that one, so I shall let it run through and then put it in. So it's going to take a while. Oh, this feels very deserved. Oh, that didn't last long. Right, number 1. That's 5. I've caved and put the hose on. It's not ideal. Ideally, you want rainwater in a pond, but if I've got a mix of rainwater and tap water, it should be fine, especially seeing as there's not much living in there at the moment anyway. While I do this, hello. While I do this, I'll give you a break and we'll come back in a sec and I'll do the first early potatoes because I've still got 1 bucket left to harvest and we've been weighing and assessing the 3 varieties and we've got our last variety. I think this one might be the winner. Famous last words, Dory. Famous last words. There we go. The frog is eaten. Not that frog, but the metaphorical frog is eaten. The big job is done. And I do feel, yeah, tons better for it. And not just because I've also had a gin. I have found a plank, so I put that in the pond as well, because I think those branches, if something like a hedgehog fell in, they wouldn't do it. And because the water level isn't totally to the top, I put the plank in. The plants actually don't look too bad. There have been some casualties. I've left those by the side again, so anything that's in there can find its way back to the pond. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed by the lack of life in the pond. Entirely my fault. I should not have let the water level get that low. So yeah, that's on me. But hopefully now that the pond is clear and nice, I actually use some Envy Pond Clear in there as well, just to help with that. Hopefully that will bring all those insects and frogs and newts back again. Yeah, I'm really shocked that I didn't see a single newt, because this pond historically has had a lot of newts in. So yeah, maybe they're all hiding in the dead hedge, and now that the water's in, they'll come out. Now, as promised, we do have that final bucket of potatoes to harvest. These are rocket. So just as with the Pentland Javelin and the Ulster Prince, all sown at the same time, which was the 22nd of March. This was the one I chose to do last because it still had this little sprig of green. I don't think that's going to mean too much, but yeah, let's see how this one compares. Oh, I see some. Oh, and as always, I've got them out and not got a tray ready. Oh, these are cute. Oh, wow, there's quite a few actually. They're quite small. Let's see. Ah, see, I predicted this might be the one. I think it might. Maybe not. That one's got holes in, so that's going to get discounted. But yeah, all right. I mean, all three buckets have been slightly disappointing, but as with the pond, my own fault because I didn't water them enough. I have been thinking lately, well, it stems from what I was talking about with the home garden a couple of weeks ago, and my decision to turn this into more of a perennial garden, a low maintenance garden. And I'm just thinking more and more about ways to simplify my growing, my life, and make it all just a bit more manageable. And having to water stuff is clearly something that is beyond my capabilities right now. So yeah, something to think about for next year. Having said that, of course, I do have potatoes in the ground on the plot, and they are the Charlottes, and I'm super excited about harvesting those to see the difference between those and the first earlies, although the Charlottes are second earlies, but also to see the difference between the seed potatoes that I bought and the seed potatoes that I saved, because if you remember, we've got a little experiment going on there. That I think will be next week. The last thing I want to do in the garden for this week is at the back. And if you thought I was going to say tidy up the absolute bomb site that is the back of this garden, then you are very wrong. This frog is definitely not ready to eat. This frog is going to wait until autumn now. So yeah, when all the excitement of the plot and the harvesting is over, then I will turn my attention to the back of the garden here. But there's something that won't wait, and that's this, my plum tree. This is my Victoria plum, I think. It was here when I got the house, obviously. It's a very well-established tree. And it's fruited this year, so it didn't fruit last year because I over-pruned it and it's needed to recover. But it has fruited this year and the fruit is good. That one wasn't quite ripe. In fact, if some of these can wait a few more days, oh no, that one's definitely ready. Although that one might not be good. Oh no, I think that one's all right. A little bit bruised that side, but that's good. Oh, hang on. What I was going to say is if some of these can wait, then they can wait for next week, because there is something that they will be ideal for next week, but you'll have to tune in then to find out what. So if I go through and just, yeah, that one's no good. I'm throwing them that way because the compost heap is just there. But yeah, oh, that one, that's very ripe and looks good. Yeah, so I'll just pick the ones that are definitely ready, and then the rest I'm going to leave and hope that I can have those for next week, or even the week after, which equally has something equally exciting going on. Again, wait to find out. Let's do our weigh-in for the potatoes. So the plums, super, they're beautiful. Let's put them in a basket. As you see, I like to put all my harvests in little baskets on the counter. Did a cucumber harvest this morning and aubergine harvest, and that's going to be the base of our August eating meal at the end of the episode this week. But potatoes. All right, here we go. So I do think this might be, I can't remember now. I really haven't kept in mind what the tallies have been. I'll have to pop them on screen. Now that was the one that was damaged. So if we take that out, we're down to 439 grams for those. Not brilliant, but it's a harvest. It's a harvest and I'll take it. What I have also been harvesting this week and has been super exciting is patty pans. I've never been able to grow a patty pan like this before. Look at these ones, although you're actually not supposed to leave them to get this big. This is about the size that you want to, wow. I have completely lost that. I think it's gone behind the washing machine. Oh well, worry about that later. This is the size that you're probably meant to harvest them more than like these bad boys. Also, talking of plums, I found a green gauge on the plot. So I thought all the plum trees on the plot were damson, but we have green gauges. So these smaller ones are the ones from the green gauge on the plot, and these larger ones were ones that I found on the park this morning during the dog walk. So yeah, got quite a lot of plums. So also as part of our August eating, we might have to make something with plums. Good morning, welcome to the plot, and I have big news. Big news. It rained last night. It's finally rained. Not a lot, but enough to make puddles and enough that the ground is damp. So I have been busy watering since I've been down here. I've watered all the pumpkins, various bits and bobs. I've done 2/3, no, that's a lie, 1/3 of the polytunnel for the tomatoes. But yeah, there is something that still needs watering, but needs a bit more than watering, and that is in the brassica cage. So that's the next job. Now what is in here is not pretty. It's really not pretty. The problem is aphids, and I think what happens is the aphids can get in here. There's no reason for them to get out, but there's also no predators that can get in because of the netting. So they're absolutely covered to the point that it's actually killing the plants. So it's my intention to take off the lower leaves. In fact, I'm going to put the gloves on. That's why I brought them, because it is pretty manky. So these leaves have already come off. I mean, look at that. So those are all the lower leaves. I've also got kohlrabi still in here as well. And I mean, will the Brussels still come? There's no sign of Brussels coming. These are the Ruby Crunch variety. Oh, there's a tiny one. They are perhaps coming. Oh, well, there's no use leaving leaves like that on, so I'm just going to take all of those off and then we'll see where we go from there. harvest of kohlrabi there. I was just going to say, I think I am filthier from doing that than from the pond yesterday. And then, yeah. Can you see that? It's all in my hair. That's not just my grey. That's the whitefly. It's all sticky. Oh my God, that is horrible. Oh, I washed my hair this morning. I knew I shouldn't have. I got to pick Mum up from the garden centre a little bit later. I'm going to have another shower and wash my hair again. What do you think to that, Dory? Does the kohlrabi make up for that? That is a beautiful kohlrabi. Maybe it makes up for it. But that's another job that I should have been on top of. If I had done that when it was supposed to have been done, when I first noticed that the Brussels sprouts were struggling, that wouldn't have been nearly so bad as that. What I've done now is I've opened it all up, and hopefully now the whitefly has all been disturbed, they might disperse a little bit and perhaps predators will come in and eat them. I did see a few ladybirds in there, but I mean, I'd need a whole army. I'm going to douse them in water, see if I can knock a few off that way as well. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get Brussels sprouts from them, because those plants were looking absolutely magnificent only a few weeks ago. Oh, need a different thumbnail for this week, I think. Something like, "You're an idiot." Oh. Hey ho, these things happen. There are other things to be happy about on the plot. Actually, I just saw this a moment ago. Where did you come from? You weren't there yesterday. Clearly you were, and I missed you. And I also saw loads more little patty pans, probably at the right point for harvesting, actually. But I did find the one that I lost yesterday. I went behind the washing machine and fished it out. Just go between the poles. There we go. Right, let's get some watering done. I've just found something else pretty exciting. See if it's still there. Hi. Aren't you beautiful? Hello, little fellow. Oh, sorry, disturbed you. Oh, you've gone over there. Did you find the mini pond? Are you liking it? Good frog. You're very on theme. Now, it was my intention to do a lot more down here this morning, but to be honest, I just feel gross, really gross. It's like you put tons of hairspray on your hair and it made that thick, sticky, oh, it's just horrible. And I need to get cleaned up to fetch Mum later. Plus, I think I've got some impromptu nephew sitting to do. So, Dory, we're going to have to make a move. You look very settled. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is my plan, because the allotment needs so much weeding, is to go square by square around the plot and try and sort out each bed as I go. So I don't think I mentioned at the beginning of the video why the eat the frog thing was pertinent. It was because I've just started my 2 weeks of leave. So I've got 2 weeks left of the summer before it's back to work, and I'm going to sort out this allotment plot in those 2 weeks. So square by square, we're going to get there, Dory. Yeah, little and often. Okay, I'm going to head home. I shall catch you up later, probably for the garden centre visit. We also need to visit my cousin because I'm missing an ingredient for our August eating dish later. So I'll catch you in a bit. Welcome back to the kitchen and our August eating update. We are over halfway through, so if you've been doing it along with me, well done. I hope you've been getting on okay. I have been fine, I think. I am running out of a few bits and bobs now, so I've got my last 2 very black bananas in the fridge. I've finished up all the mushrooms now, but I did find that I had quite a few packets of dried mushrooms in the cupboards, which I've obviously collected over, I'd like to say months, but probably years. I did rehydrate some and I used them to make a hot pot, which was really delicious. Had that with obviously courgette, because everything has courgette in at the moment. Some of the fresh tomatoes, some of my potatoes on the top. So I had that at Liam's at the weekend. That was really nice. The other thing, of course, I've done is my first stuffed patty pan. Now I have a bit of a tip for a really quick meal with a patty pan or a courgette if you're stuffing a courgette. Making the stuffing is sort of the time-consuming part, but you can buy these tomatoey French lentils. These are the Merchant Gourmet ones, so they're a bit fancy, but you can also get the exact same thing. I think this is Aldi French-style lentils. And that is just a filling in and of itself. You could mix some other stuff in there, something like mushrooms. And so that just went in the top. I put one of the beefsteak tomatoes over the top and some basil, roasted that in the oven. And that was a great light dinner or lunch. So yeah, good tip there. But that's not what I'm having tonight, because tonight I want to use up some of these aubergines. Now this week I thought we would make baba ganoush. Now I have a go-to baba ganoush recipe, but I found one online that uses preserved lemons. So if you remember in my August eating video, the intro video, I said I had 2 jars of preserved lemons and no idea why I'd bought them or what I had to do with them. Some of you said I should be putting them in my tagine, and I will try that, so thank you for that. But I'm going to try them in baba ganoush. So the first thing I need to do is roast my aubergines, and I have several different varieties. So these ones, these nice stripy ones, are from Mr. Singh, as are these ones. He gave me those this morning. These are my check early ones. So I've got a few of that. That's my jewel marble, and that's, I think, is that called Chinese long? So I've got one of those as well, but I've also got these ones. So they're not tomatoes, they are Turkish aubergines. And I have tried one of these. I chopped it up and had it in like a tofu scramble, and it was really bitter. It was not pleasant at all. But I want to give them another try. And I thought actually with all the aubergines, what I might do, and don't usually do, is halve them, salt them and drain them, which takes some of the bitterness out. Once I've done that, I'll give them a rinse off, and then I'm going to put them in the air fryer to do the roasting. Never done that before, but seems like a good idea and a good time saver. I think I'll do one of each variety, so that when they come out of the air fryer, we can just do a little quick taste test of each of the different ones and see how they compare. And then perhaps the best ones we'll use for the baba ganoush, because I only actually need 2 for the recipe. Okay, the aubergines are now all roasted. Worked well in the air fryer. I probably left them a little bit too long. You do want them charred, because that gives the smoky flavour for the baba ganoush. Not charred to the point where there's no flesh left, which is the case with some of these tiny Turkish ones. But I'm going to try and taste some of the flesh from inside it. Now they are very seedy, and the seeds are what has the bitterness. So, well, that's not too bad. There's a little bit of bitterness there. I don't know if I'll put those in the baba ganoush. This one I think is Mr. Singh's stripy one. So one of those ones. Let's try that. That's a nice creamy flesh. Yeah, no bitterness with that one. So this is Mr. Singh's other one, which I think was probably a Black Beauty, a kind of classic aubergine. Nice, like that one. Favourite so far. So what does that mean we've got left? What other ones did I have? Oh, check early. This is the check early, I think. Lovely. Nothing wrong with that. And then this one is the jewel marble. Fine. I don't think it's quite as tasty as the Black Beauty. and the check early. But yeah, I'm not going to put the Turkish ones in. I'm not sure about those at all. They look really pretty on the plant, but yeah, if they don't taste good. All right, that is all the flesh I think I can get out of the skins into the mini food processor. I really should have used the bigger aubergines. Because there's not that much flesh, I'm going to scale down some of the other ingredients. So I'm just going to put half a clove of elephant garlic in. I roasted this while the aubergines were roasting as well. In fact, I might chop that up a little bit first. There we go. And then I'm going to only put in half the preserved lemon. I can always add some more when I taste test it. Go. And then it was a tablespoon of tahini. I'm not much for measuring at the best of times, so let's go with that. And then some olive oil. I only have basil infused olive oil, but I was reading a recipe that included basil, so I'm going to give that a go. That was about a tablespoon in the recipe, so a little less there. And then I'm just going to put a pinch of cumin in. That's probably enough. And some of the parsley. Now the parsley was the ingredient I was missing. So thank you to Becky for letting me grab some from her garden earlier today. Just fit it in. I did have Francis here for the afternoon. We watched a movie and and I would have shown you the chocolate banana cake that I had made this week, but we ate a lot. We ate a huge piece of chocolate cake each with chocolate ice cream. So I've used that up from the freezer now as well. But yes, thanks to Becky for that. Right, I think that was all. Salt. Now, my aubergines were salted, so I'm not going to overdo the salt. In fact, I might just put a pinch in. And again, we can taste test if it needs more. Okay, here we go. Right, let's give it a little taste. That's nice. Maybe a little bit more salt. Apologies, I know the lighting isn't great in here when it gets dark, but I've just taken this to the next level. Because I had some of the really quite crispy garlic and preserved lemons left, I've mixed that with the parsley and then popped it on top like a little crunchy top and a little bit of a drizzle of the basil oil as well. But the real taste test is when this is on the sourdough. All right, here we go. Nice chunky bit of sourdough. Let's get some of this on with the topping. Right, here we go. That's really divine. That's divine. I think it's properly smoky because I properly charred it in the air fryer, which is what you want. But then the subtlety, because I used elephant garlic rather than regular garlic, which is a bit milder, plus it was roasted, which takes away some of the sort of bitterness or kick of the garlic, but it's still there. You can still taste the garlic. And then the preserved lemons as well, because it's not so acidic from the lemons. So it just all sort of flows together nicely. I've not really got the language of a chef, but yeah, delicious. Really, really good. Really good. I will put the recipe in the description below. If you're wondering what this August eating thing is all about, check out this video. Otherwise, thank you for watching this week, and I hope to see you next week.